What is good? Osiris here, stuck in the middle. We're back in Minnesota, and we've got a string of dead black bodies historically here over the last few years in Minnesota that have led to some serious uprising in our country. I've never had more fun than I am right now doing this channel as a hobby, meeting all of you. Thank you for stopping by and talking with Will Cormier yesterday. I'm doing this Let's Build. I'm going to try to talk with people like Black Pegasus and River from Right, Left of Center, and whoever else wants to build. But this situation here, it makes me sad and frustrated. It's not about the police for me, it's about the whole situation. Politicians, police, and actually the police are the least frustrated group I am with this whole thing, actually. I'm really frustrated at the response of citizens. But let me be clear, no different than Ottawa, J6, or anything else, if citizens are this upset, we have to listen. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree. In this case, I am listening to you. I feel your pain, but what I think the right thing to do in this moment is for me to listen and to have a just two-way discussion to help me understand what you want. What do you need? I might need to challenge fellow citizens to articulate what they want, to grab a hold of these emotions you have and use them to affect change in a positive manner. That's not happening right now, and it's not just the politicians' fault, it's our fault. How do you channel it? If you don't know what happened, the most recent dead black man, his name was Amir Locke. There was a Minnesota, I'll give you a brief breakdown. Minnesota police, they went to a judge and they got a warrant for this residence. I believe it was an apartment. They got a warrant, and then on top of that, we haven't seen the details of that warrant yet. But on top of that, they got a no-knock warrant, meaning the police don't have to go knock, 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 knock. Police, open your door. We're here for whatever. They can. What happened is they used the key, opened the door, and came through. They didn't do the ram. They could have done the ram too if they wanted to. So they didn't announce. They opened up, came in the residence, then announced. 9 seconds later, Amir Locke is dead. What happened is Amir Locke was sleeping on the couch. Please come in. They see him on the couch. He has a gun in his hand. So the police eliminate the threat of a person with a gun, and he didn't drop the gun. So unfortunately, it's a sad situation. He died. We haven't seen any criminal background on Amir Locke. That's not relevant to this scenario, though. But just to mention it, it's not like we're seeing proof that Amir Locke was some type of criminal or anything like that. We don't have proof about that. I've been very hard on the Black Lives Matter movement. Ilhan Omar, for example, said Amir Locke was executed by Minneapolis police. She condemns city leaders for empty words. Of course, we have a dead black man killed by police, and now we've got the race baiting Olympics starting. You're not helping Representative Omar. And your goal probably isn't to help. I don't see evidence of that. One of the positive things that did come from this movement is it pushed police to have body cams. So you can cover yourself, or we can see the mistakes, either way. And everyone should be happy about that. Police, citizens, everyone. That we can see. And the Minneapolis Police Department has been extremely transparent. They put everything out there. The one mistake they made is before the body cam out, they said the gun was pointed at officers. I don't know if that's clear. To me, the shooting is justified either way. Amir Locke was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's not the police's fault. That's not Amir Locke's fault. That's nobody's fault. If you believe in a higher power, I know it's tough in these situations with natural disasters and, in this case, bad luck, you could say, but that's God's will. or fate, whatever you believe. But we are in that gray area right now where people are not comfortable. If we can't be comfortable in this gray area, there is no solution for this. In this gray area, it is possible that nobody did anything wrong and something tragic happens. That is possible. And when I say Amir Locke did nothing wrong, I'm being very lenient with that because I don't know what he knew about. I think he was cousins with somebody in there, whatever the relationship is. When you're sleeping on the couch or you're with a resident with somebody else who's potentially doing dirt, enough dirt for a judge to sign off on a warrant, you're putting yourself at risk. But just if you just isolate the scenario of the shooting, Amir Locke did nothing wrong. Everybody, it's okay to say, I'm sad, but nothing wrong happened here. If you're out there in the streets, what do you want? Tell me, take that emotion and channel it into communicating to me what you want. Is it a no-knock warrant to get rid of no-knock warrants? Senator Rand Paul has a bill that's dating back to the summer of love. It's called the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act. It's been out there for almost a year and a half. If that's what you want, it's been there. What are you marching for? Ilhan Omar, do you support that bill? Now, I want to make my position clear, separate from my challenge for these citizens. I do not agree with the no-knock warrant, eliminating no-knock warrants. There's a reason why police do no-knock warrants. It's actually to be safer. If you're going into a stash house or wherever, a place where there could be somebody with a lot of guns, knocking on the door, put yourself in the mind of the police officer. Here, police here, police here. Everybody grab their guns, eliminate the drugs, flush it down the toilet, or whatever it is. Let's talk rational. There's a reason why there's no knock warrants. But hey, if your position is you want to get rid of no knock warrants, that's a legitimate stance. Rand Paul has a bill. So that's not what you want. Rand Paul got attacked in the street. He's the one that proposed the bill. Nobody's on it. Nobody jumped on it. So clearly that's not what you want. I guarantee you some people out there know that bill exists. So that's not what you want. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that you want to get rid of no-knock. Don't tell me you want to get rid of no-knock raids when there's been a bill out there for a year and a half to do it. Or you could propose another bill from anybody could propose. In Congress can propose a bill. That's not what you want. Don't tell me that. I want you to listen to this from the protest.
With you. Feel your anger fully. Be mad. Be mad. Because your anger is justified. Build barricades. Burn precincts. Reappropriate what they've stolen for you for thousands of generations. Most of all, show love to one another. Radical love. And show absolute hate to those who oppress us. Power to the looters. Power to the rioters. Say his name! Say his name! Say his name!
Does this sound like people who want no-knock warrants to be eliminated, and if that happens, they'll feel better? Not to me. It's a hate group, and there's no one that can convince them otherwise than to wallow in their hate. I don't mean to make light of their pain and suffering, even though I don't understand it. It's not rational. I'm not making light of it, but I will call it what it is. That is hate in its purest form. And I don't know what percent of the people that represents, but I don't hear people rallying on that side to denounce that. During the riots of 2020, one of the famous protesters said, looting a Gucci store is reparations. There's no one that can convince them that they are hateful. Jesse Jackson, I'm just going to paraphrase, didn't like it. And then they went after Jesse Jackson saying, you don't understand this. You don't know this. This isn't you. If Martin Luther King Jr. were alive today, they would call him a white supremacist. He wouldn't be down for that. He wouldn't be down for this. I'm going to end with this. Dave Smith, I highly respect this. Nothing to go against Dave Smith. But he also pointed out that Rand Paul has this bill out here. Rand, the son of Ron. But I want to add challenge to that, to Dave Smith and Rand Paul. The responsibility of a senator is not to just draft legislation and say, oh, I've got this legislation. Why are you complaining? Part of being a senator is being able to make that case to constituents, to go on TV, make that case to the country, and get buy-in from all sides. You haven't done that work, Rand. You haven't done your job. You don't propose a bill and then sit back and say, I have all the answers. I proposed a bill. Why aren't you on board with the bill? No, your job is to politic. You're a politician. When you need money for running for office, you don't have a problem going out there and getting money. I need that same energy when you've got a bill. Even though I don't agree with the bill, I'm just talking about the principles here. And the ironic thing about the bill is they knocked with Breonna Taylor. They did not do a no-knock. And maybe if they had done a new no-knock, Breonna Taylor, who knows, it might have been worse also, but she also might be alive today. Who knows? But it's odd to name a no-knock bill in a situation where I believe they had a no-knock option, but they didn't do it. Everybody's got to humble themselves. I don't have all the answers. Rand Paul, your bill isn't the answer. The answer is to build a coalition. Then you can make a legislation. You just wrote up a legislation with no consensus building. I have to humble myself. You really have to humble yourself, Rand. Everybody out there in the streets, you don't even know what you want. Everybody out in the street, you haven't done the work either. You haven't brought people together. I look at what's happening in Ottawa, and what I love about it is it's people of all backgrounds brought together. It's a lesson not just for somebody like me who values liberty. It's a lesson for you in Minnesota and Minneapolis or wherever else you're marching. Obviously, if Amir Locke was white, there wouldn't be a thought in the world. But if you're that worried about identity, you can learn from Ottawa too. Ilhan Omar, AOC, who do you work with? Are you working with Rand Paul? Why or why not? The impression that I get is that you don't want solutions. Those marching, those fake politicians in office that milk this for support, money, and all that. You don't want solutions. You want to keep that hate in your heart. You just want an avenue to be able to strike out with it. And a solution or working towards a solution doesn't allow for that. And that's where I want to challenge anybody out there marching. Let me know what you think. Take care.